What's up, Cam? What's up, world? What's up, digital format? What's up, information world? Uh, I woke up this morning sick and hurting, so I took the day off of work. I'm making the best of it for what it is. But I ain't gonna talk about pain here. I'm gonna talk about something interesting that I was just thinking about. People who are very negative. There's a lot of negative people in the world. I'm very fortunate not to be surrounded by negative people, but I know what it's like to be around negative people, and it's definitely not conducive with my lifestyle. However, sometimes we don't have a choice. We work with them, we associate with them, we run into them all the time online. The more controversial your topics are about your everyday conversations, um, the more retort you're going to get from people who have something more important or something that's truer than what you say. So I'll give you the example of what I'm trying to express here is how people, if they can't argue about something, then they just walk away from it and choose not to be friends or choose not to make amends. It's almost as if some people just want conflict and they don't want to reach a resolution. So here's my example, and this has happened to me many times. A person will make a derogatory, rude comment to me on, say, YouTube. Whether it be, often it'll be on somebody else's video, or some random video. One of those stalker types who thinks that I'm an agent or Luciferian or whatever. So they'll make a comment, right? And rather than just respond by saying, "Oh, fuck you," you don't know shit, you're a douchebag, which is the way a lot of conversations go on online. I choose to ask them, "Hey, do you have any reason to believe this? Why do you think this about me?" And then they'll say, "Well, this is why I believe this." And so I'll lend them an explanation, which I don't owe anybody an explanation as to why I believe or think what I do, but almost an apologetic response to them by saying, I'm really just a normal person. I'm just a guy who gets up, goes to work, comes home, loves my family, makes a video. I don't have any sneakiness about me. This is just who I am. So after I've explained myself to a person, rather than say, okay, well, my bad, it must have been my mistake, or perhaps you are, perhaps you aren't, it's just no response whatsoever. In other words, once a person's presented with, once you take their ammunition away, they choose to not even partake anymore. It's kind of like, I see this all the time. People will make a comment, somebody else will harsh them about it and say, "You're an idiot, you don't know anything." And then the person will come back and actually present the evidence for what they were saying. No response. It's because a person doesn't want to, people don't tend to want to get resolutions. They want to cause more problems. And this is the way, you could compare this as a metaphor, the medical industry, the hospitals, doctors. It's along the same lines as the way that they don't want, it's not that the doctors themselves don't want you to get well, it's that the industry does not want people to get better. They just want to maintain people's sicknesses and illnesses because it's more money. And likewise, when a person's arguing, if they have to give a little bit by saying maybe I was wrong, they won't do it. They often just they choose to move on to the next conflict. Most of the times when I've had people say responses, harsh things to me, I'll go to their page and see that they're just that they have all kinds of people harshing on them, saying, "Oh, how dare you say this to me? And why would you come to my page and comment on this?" Years ago, a year ago, I guess, when I started the YouTube thing, for a while there, I really gave a shit. I'd have conversations with people thinking that this person really wants to have a discussion, a conversation, and to resolve a difference in opinion. But I found over the long run that it's just like everyday life. Most people don't want to resolve issues. If you find a resolution for someone or a way that they can get out of their problems, they attach to their problems and hold on even stronger. Or whatever it may be, whether it's a problem or an opinion or, people don't want to let go of their ego when they think that they're right about something. And I know because I've been there, I understand it. And while I'm on this topic, I wanted to cover this ego thing because I had a discussion with a couple of different people in the last month or two about ego. And I've been trying to trying to give positive light to ego. Because through all the rantings I've read and all the videos I've watched and learned and every bit of information that I can absorb, I've found that people in general are opposed to this idea of ego. But that's because we have a different view of what ego is. And a lot of people think that ego is, the part of you that is completely thinks you're superior to others. So in a sense, the way we use words and the wording that we use is really important in English, especially because there's so many different slang terms and whatnot. But so I go with, from ego, I've bumped it down to individualism and separated that from ego. But individualism is what sets us apart from one another. This is the part of our ego that we should embrace. And others would say, no, we need to get rid of the differences and become one. I go back and forth on it. I don't really know. Because I know that as long as people aren't thinking the same way as others, then there's going to be conflict. But the minute that everybody starts thinking alike, there's no real effort towards a solution or a resolution. And we might all go down the wrong direction, just shaking each other's hands saying, yeah, we're on the right path, we're on the right path. So it takes conflict, it takes ego, it takes argument to bring forth information so people can really devise their own opinions. Nothing could be more influential than two educated people debating or arguing about something. And I like to say debate, but argument is not a bad word. It's just used as a bad word. But all of our current world, inventions, creations, breakthroughs have all been through disputes and arguments over the right way to do something. One person has an idea and another person says, no, we'll do it this way. If everybody just followed the same path, there would be no difference. But then again, there would be no market. And without a market, we might not have some of the things that we have today, like medicines, good foods, different farming methods and ways of living. So we're at this, I have this major conflict between progress as a society and kind of going back to the way of nature. And I've heard so many people say that, I've heard a lot of people when I say that look at what we've done to ourselves, look at how we're destroying ourselves, folks would say, but look at all the good stuff that we've done. Look at how far we've moved forward as a society. Look at all the progress. But I always ask the same question. What is progress? It depends on what you consider progress to be. So ego or individualism is what lets each person say, hey, I can be different. I can do something different. I can create something different. This is why socialism does not work. But socialism in the sense that people, the image people have of socialism, like the Marxist version of socialism would not be the same as general dictionary version. Every single person's view is different. Same with anarchism. You hear the word anarchism, most people go, oh, that's just chaos in the streets. No, anarchy is minimal government. Anarchy does not mean chaos. It means less structure. And but there's so many different views of anarchism, just like there are with all political views, all different views of people. And the reason that's that's kind of metaphoric in my mind for the way that people see their arguments, their disputes. When they want to prove their point, they want to prove they're right. They want to be an individual. They want to know that all the time they've spent learning this thing is for the right reasons. And if a person finds that maybe they have to rescind some of their previous thoughts and maybe go down a different path, it becomes very difficult. And the older a person is, the harder it becomes, I think. But it's just like with anything else, it depends on the person. If I could add to that, I would say, please, please don't be one of those people that tells other people what's good for them. I try so hard not to do that. I don't even try, I just don't. But in my videos in the past, I know that I have, like, say, 8 months ago or so, I'd say, people need to do this, people need to do that, they need to come together, they need to learn tolerance. And then I sit back and I think about it for a few months, and I think, people are doing what people do. People are not going to change because another person wants them to, nor is any one person able to say whether the change is appropriate or that's a good way to be. There's so many confusing angles to life that it's hard sometimes for us to just sit back and enjoy peace and quiet and relax for a minute. There's a lot of chaos. There's a lot of insane things going on in the world. And I imagine in times before we had, electricity, transportation, people weren't aware of everything that was going on and all the different views. They only had to deal with the different views in their community. But here we are, exposed to each person. And I could talk to people in England and France, Australia. And these are people that have grown up with completely different environments, completely different outlooks on life, and completely different views of what ego and individualism is. So I think all I'm really trying to get at is that it's hard for people to let down their guard and to slow down and to really think about what they're saying before they say it. I've said some of the things I regret the most when I drink alcohol, for example. I rarely drink, maybe once in a blue moon, every 4 or 5 months, I always have a bottle of liquor in the cupboard, but I just don't touch it. It's not my thing. So I could just as easily say, well, I smoke pot and I don't drink, so I think I'm superior to alcoholics because look at how they act. Look at the things they say when they're drunk. But I'm not like that, because it's not right for one person to judge another based on different forms of addiction or different forms of thinking. And so far, if there had been a real superior point of view in this world, then wouldn't it have come to fruition by now? If there's one that people could really agree on, I think that the closest we have to that is democracy. And democracy is failing too, but it really is the best we've got right now. We have two choices. We can either let people vote for us, or we can hope that 51% can pick the right choice. But it all comes down to people's discomfort with one another and their views. I don't know how we're ever going to get past that. I could go on for that, about that forever, but see how much time I have. Oh, looks like I'm out of time. So hope everyone's doing well, and we'll be back.